So we can see what is a attention. In your syllabus, it is focus. Here you can see that there is a lens, and there is a background here. When we are looking through the lens, we are only seeing one particular object or particular thing. You can see a car coming to us. It is like that is the basic idea in focus or attention. That is when we are attending or when we are focusing on something, even if there are so many other things happening around us, we will be simply concentrating or thinking about one particular thing. That aspect or that feature is what you mean by focus. So focus, otherwise known by the name attention, it is an ability of the body or ability of the mind to actively process specific information. For example, as in the case of this scenery, there are a lot of trees and other things are there, but we are only seeing one car is coming, one vehicle is coming. Only that is because our focus is concentrated only on that. That is why it is known as a focus or attention. It is a process of our mind, and during that process, our mind is actually concentrating on certain particular things. At the same time, we are also tuning out other details. For example, if you are actively listening to the class, even if there is some sound in the background, you may not be listening to that. You are tuning out that sound because it is unimportant for you. That is why you are not listening. Your mind is not focusing on that. So that is how the normally our mind works. When there are so many different types of events, different types of stimuli in the environment, we will be only concentrating on certain things. We cannot concentrate on all the things at a time. Some people will be have that kind of ability, and they can concentrate on several things at the same time. You know, people with the autism, and those kind of people they can concentrate on several things at the same time. This many famous personalities, scientists are having some kind like Einstein, Charles Darwin. All these have minor degree of autism. So that's why they can concentrate on multiple things at the same time. But normally a person cannot concentrate on many things at a time. But with the practice, to some extent, we can concentrate on two or three things at the same time, and that quality is what we call when multitasking. To some extent, multitasking is a good quality because if you have a quality of doing many things at a time, it actually improves the efficiency of the efficiency of you as a person. You can highly improve in your career. You can do so many things. I have seen many students, not in this class, in earlier class. There are few students. They are highly bright or highly brilliant in their studies. At the same time, they may be involved in CC. They may be involved in dance. They may be the class leader. They may be involved in all the activities of the college, and still they will be successful in all these things. I know one student. Her name is Veena. She was a student of our college, and she got a first rank in zoology also. At the same time, she was a student in NCC, active in NCC. She was very active in dance. She was active in other programs of the college. So that kind of skill is known as multitasking. So if you can develop such qualities, you can actually reach higher position in your life. So attention is the ability to focus actively on specific information in the environment. At the same time, we are tuning out other finer details. It is not just about centering your focus on one particular thing. It also involves ignoring great deal of competing information. That is, when we are focusing on something, we have to at the same time tune out or ignore what is not relevant to us. We have to ignore. If you concentrate on all the information, all the coming from the environment, we may not be able to concentrate on anything. So focus or attention involves two important aspects. One, concentrating on what we want to focus, what we need. Other is ignoring what we don't need. That is the two basic events or basic activities involving concentrating or focus. And if you can develop such a quality, you can greatly improve the efficiency of you. For example, sometimes when you start learning or reading your books, you may not be able to concentrate. The problem is that in your mind, several other things are coming. When you take the notebook or textbooks to study, if a lot of other things are coming to your mind, you won't be able to concentrate on it properly. So there you can have to develop this quality, concentrating on what you want to know, at the same time ignoring on what you don't want to focus. So it is by practice only we can develop that quality. And as students, you have to develop that quality. Then only you can concentrate. So, for example, some students, if even if they are reading the textbook for one or two times, they may be remembering all the minor things because they are concentrating that much on that. So if you spend your time efficiently, you can with the limited time you can score more mark. So most of the time, some students, many of the students may be having this problem. Even after reading several times, you may forget the things. When the examination comes, you are not able to remember most of the things. So in order to avoid that, you have to train your mind. Then only you can improve the efficiency of your focus or attention. Attention allows you to tune out information, sensation, perception that are not relevant at the moment. Instead, focus your entire energy on information. All these three paragraphs are conveying the same thing. Focus on what is important, at the same time ignore on what is not important. So that's it's a basic activity, basic approach in your life. If you can develop that approach successfully in your life, that can improve your efficiency. For example, even if you are working as a housewife or a father in whatever position or in your office or in any situation, if you can focus only on the thing, you can concentrate your thing effectively and you can complete that thing at a shorter time. Instead, if you are not able to concentrate properly, what will be the case? You will be taking more time to finish that. That is the importance of focusing properly and effectively. Now, attention is a basic component of our biology, present even at the time of birth. For example, our orienting reflex help us determine which events in our environment need to be attended to. A process they aids in ability for our ability to survive. For example, for a baby, in maybe 1 month or 2 month old, still the baby has certain priorities. They have certain basic nervous reflexes. When there is too much heat from one side, the baby will be immediately pulling his legs or arms from that side. If there is too much cold in one particular area, you can see that baby is pulling his legs or body from that part. It's a basic reflex. It's a nervous reflex. For a child to survive effectively, such basic reflexes are very important. It is a nervous mediated for action or nervous mediated reflex. So, in order for a child to survive effectively, these kind of orienting reflexes are. For a child, they know what is important and what is unimportant. A newborn attend to environmental stimuli such as loud noise. We know that if, for example, for a baby, 1 or 2 months or 6 months old, if a dog is barking very loudly, you can immediately sense that child is disturbed. So that for a baby, they are recognizing that it's an unpleasant sound and that is not a good sound. So that makes them uncomfortable. So the even newborn children, even very young children, can immediately recognize what are the disturbing things, disturbing stimuli coming from the environment, and what should be the stimulus that he or she should be concentrating on. So this kind of approach, every person, right from a young age to old age, are conducting. A touch against a cheek trigger a rooting reflex. Rooting reflex actually means for a baby, they are primarily depending on sucking the blood from the breast of the mother. And normally, most of the time, if you ask your elder sisters or if they, you know that when a child is taken and the touch of the breast is pressing on the cheek, immediately start sucking on the nipple. That is an automatic process. For a child, it is very important to survive. If a child is not able to suck properly on the nipple, he or she may not be able to get the milk. So every animal, whether human being or any kind of mammal, they are having this rooting reflex. Sometimes some children, some babies may not be having this rooting reflex properly developed. Then it becomes a big problem. The child may not be able to suck properly. If the child is not sucking properly, mother may not be producing enough milk because the sucking is what is triggering the production of milk. So that kind of so it is a very important event for rooting if reflex causing infant to turn his head to nurse and receive the nourishment. For a child, that is an important aspect. For a child, for the successful survival of him or her, he has to focus on certain things. For a child, main focus is drinking the milk, and when a child is want to defecate or excrete or urinate, they have to do that. These are the basic events. They are not bothered about big things. So at the different age of at different age levels, we have different levels of demands, and we have to concentrate on these different things at different time. This orienting reflex continue to benefit us throughout our life. The attention plays a critical role in almost every area of life, including school, work, and relationship. This are how what is the importance of attention in your studies, and what is the importance of attention. For example, you are going after 5 years, you are maybe employed in some private or government job. You will have thousands of files. We have a lot of files coming to us, or a lot of works coming to us. Even for us, we have to teach here. At the same, we have to carry out a lot of other activities. And daily, we must be knowing to which activity we should give more importance. And if you are not giving proper importance to an activity, that has to be completed in time. Most of the time, we may be getting some kind of scolding, or the superior person, even in a college principal, they may be angry with you. They may call you why you are not doing. Sometimes you are repeating that activity several times. You will be getting some kind of punishment. So finally, if it is a private job, they will immediately dismiss you from that post. So that kind of problem is always there. So we have to prioritize on what are the aspects we have to focus on. That is it is a mental training, because you are at this age, you don't have a lot of things. You are mainly you are starting your life. You are not bothered about bigger things in your life. You don't have any husband or wife or children. You are only concerned about your life. So you because if you can develop those kind of things at this age, later in your life you can effectively utilize such a skills, such as personal skill. So a critical role in every area of life, school, work, and for example relationship also. There are certain relationships which we have to give more attention. There are certain relationships to which we don't need to pay that much attention, but every relationship is important. Sometimes there are some people may be our enemies. Still, keeping a proper relationship, that enemy also, for example, your neighbor, he or she is troubling you in so many ways. But if you don't keep a minimum balance in that relationship with your neighbor, what will be the problem? That neighbor or friend or relative can give you lot of trouble. And what will be the end result? Your attention or focus on many other activities will be gradually become disturbed. You cannot concentrate on your day-to-day life. You cannot concentrate on your children in the family. You cannot concentrate on your work at office. So these are the problems. So even if they are enemies, we have to maintain certain balance. That is a skill many people don't have. When we don't have how to say how to nicely say no, that itself can create a lot of trouble in your life. So practicing, some people may not be very good to us. Still, if you are looking at that person and say, "You, I don't want to talk with you," then the person is offended. Then what will be the result? That person will give you trouble later. And that problem will keep on troubling you later in your life. So, maintaining the relationship is also an important. So, there are certain relationships for which we have to give more importance, certain relationship to which we don't need to give much importance. Even if they are enemies, we have to keep a certain level of balance. That is, and keeping the even though they are enemy, giving the respect an enemy deserve is always helpful to us because they don't trouble us. Because if enemy is troubling us, that is creating us more trouble later in your life. So it allows people to focus on information in order to create memories. What are the memories? For example, when we are studying here 3 years, you are not going to remember all the events that has taken place during these 3 years. Only few specific events you are keeping because we have your mind has focused too much on those events. So those events have influenced your mind. After going from this college, maybe after 10 years or 15 years, you may be still remembering that. And that is how human mind is working. And these are the events because when we focus on certain things, those things will be present in your mind even after several years, and that will be remembered as memories. Sometimes some people will be have good memories, some people will be having bad memory. It is up to you to decide whether we should have more good memories or more bad memories. Because basically, the the one important thing in life is that if you respect another person, they will respect you. For example, you are an enemy. If you are respecting your enemy, that enemy will also respect. For example, in international border, what is happening? India, if it is respecting the China, China will not trouble us. If China is respecting India, India won't trouble us. So enemies are also has to be respected. That is a message you have to take on properly. Sometimes this is the problem many people will be having. When you go to an office, there are different types of people, and some of them are highly irritating, some of them are really troublemakers. But if you don't know how to handle these kind of people, you cannot do anything in that office. Because when we start doing on something, your enemy will come and start disturbing you in some other way. So handling the enemy, handling the opposing views is an important thing. So it allows people to focus on information in order to create good memories. So think about whether you want good memories or bad memories or painful memories. And based on that, you create an environment that brings more good memories, so that you feel that your life is very good, your life is meaningful. If you feel that your life is not worth, your life is not happy, your life is not meaningful, I will say primarily you are responsible. You may not have respected the people around you properly, so that those people will also want respect. It is basically a give and take. Give respect, take respect. If you respect others, they will also respect you. If you respect your neighbor, they will respect you. If you respect your relatives, they will respect you. If you respect your friend, they will be respecting. If you respect your parents, they will be giving back that. So it is like, if you are not able to give love and respect, don't expect you are going to get it back. It also allows people to avoid distractions so that they can focus on and complete specific tasks. This is the most important aspect of attention. That is why what I was telling earlier, why we should tolerate other people. Because if these enemies, if these disturbing people in your life are not properly respected, they can give you a lot of trouble. So that you will have a lot of distraction, and you will be spending mostly negative energy, negative hormones like adrenaline, cortisol will be released too much in your body, and most of the time you feel exhausted, tired, and mentally stressed. What will be the effect? Yeah, actually, then you will be leading a negative life more than a positive life. So this is what is important. In order to avoid distraction, We need to know which are the things which has to be given more importance, which has to be ignored, and that kind of balance has to be made. So, in order to complete the task that we want to complete, we need to maintain a certain level of balance in our relationship. Then attention is a behavioral and cognitive process. Cognitive means involving mind. So any activity that involve our mind and thoughts are known as cognitive. So attention is a behavioral and cognitive process of selectively concentrating on discrete aspects. Discrete means specific, very important. Discrete aspect of information while ignoring other perceivable. Perceivable means what we are seeing through our eyes, what we are hearing through our ear, or feeling through our sense organ. There is a meaning perceive. Perceive back basically means feeling with our sense organ. So in the environment, we will be having different type of sensations, but we have to concentrate only on certain specific events. Only then, and we can concentrate properly. So it is a state of arousal. That means that we are concentrating only on few things. That is the meaning of that sentence. So attention is best described as a sustained focus of cognitive resources. Cognitive resources means our thoughts and mind. Thoughts, mind, and feelings, all these are cognitive. Whatever things that we do with our mind or brain is coming under cognitive. The word cognitive is a difficult term actually, but the simple meaning of the cognitive means it involves working of our mind or thoughts. So it is a sustained focus of cognitive resources on information while filtering or ignoring extraneous. Extraneous means outside. So we have to concentrate on what is important and we have to filter out or ignore what is not important. Unwanted outside information we have to filter out. That is the meaning. Attention is a basic function that is often precursor to other neurological or cognitive function. Because when we are concentrating properly on something, now because how your memories are formed in your brain, because every time you are concentrating actively on something, in the brain there are neurons. Some neurons will be forming new connections. It is by way of forming new connections, your memories are actually stored in your brain. For example, when you are writing something in your computer memory, they are writing in the form of some digits, 1 to 1 digit, binary codes. That is how the computer is storing information. Just like that, our brain is also storing information by developing new nerve connection, new synapses. That is how the memories are stored. So when we are thinking strongly about something, your brain will be having a better ability to form more good connection. So it is based on those connections you are able to remember certain memories. So that's how. So if you are properly doing this, more stronger connections are formed in your brain, so that you can remember those events far more faster or more easier. So that is why I told you it is important that you have to start practicing on how to concentrate on events or things that is important to you. At the same time, ignore those things which are not important to you. Now we can see different types of attentions are here. There are basically 5 different types of attentions are there. The first one is a focused attention. The focused attention simply means ability to respond discreetly to specific visual, auditory, or tactile stimuli. So, for example, there is some image, for example, a car is coming, or a boy is running, or a child is running. These are all visual stimulus. There is some sound will be coming. That is an auditory stimulus. At the same time, somebody is touching you. That is a tactile stimulus. So, it is the first one is a focused attention. It simply means its ability to respond descriptively, specifically, or clearly to certain specific visual, auditory, or tactile stimuli is known as focused attention. And second one is the sustained attention. Sustained attention simply means ability to maintain constant behavioral response during continuous and repeated activity. That is when we are focused on some, when we are carrying out some kind of activity, if we are able to continuously focus on that, that situation is known as sustain. We are able to permanently keep that attention. We are able to keep that attention for a long time. Then we call it as sustained attention. Then selective attention, ability to maintain a behavioral or cognitive set in the face of distracting or competing stimuli. Therefore, it incorporates an option of freedom from, for example, you are listening in the class. There are a lot of other kinds of sounds. Sometimes you may be hearing a lot of other sound coming from the different parts of the college. But if you are able to concentrate on what the teacher is saying, that ability is known as selective attention. What you are doing, you are only selecting the information coming from the teacher. At the same time, you are actually ignoring all other outside information. That kind of attention is known as a selective attention. Then alternating attention, ability of the mental flexibility that allows individual to shift their focus of attention and move between tasks of different cognitive requirement. For example, you may have seen in certain, sometimes when you go to a certain area, there may be people who may be typing one work in computer, and after some time you can see that that person is talking to very important things with some other staff in the office. So that what is happening? One time he is concentrating on one activity, another time he is concentrating on another activity. This is called shifting attention or alternating attention. This is also an important thing. So, in order to have a good career growth in your life, these kind of skills are important. It's simply when you are doing one thing, do that thing only. When I was studying in 10th standard, my teacher used to say that once one person asked Chinmaya Somi, what is your main strategy in life or something like that? Chinmaya Swami told that when I am combing my hair, I think about only combing my hair. I don't think about anything else. So that is the approach many philosophers are doing. They are also when they are concentrating on things, concentrate only on. For example, when you are having your breakfast, think about only having breakfast. When you are having a bath, think about only that. And if you are concentrating on a lot of other things while having breakfast, what will be done? You cannot eat properly. So that is when we are watching a film, think about only that. By practice, you can, because at this age it is easy to practice. And if you develop those skills at this age, those skills will be with you throughout your life and you will be having a happy, good life. But if you don't practice it, and slowly what will be the effect? Your environment will be influencing you, and later it is very hard for you to develop such kind of skill. Then divided attention. This refers to ability to respond simultaneously to multiple tasks or multitask demands. So this is an important thing, especially in modern life. You know what you take a mobile. Mobile is actually multitasking device. You can do a lot of things in a mobile. You can chat in a mobile. You can make a call in a mobile. You can watch a movie in a mobile. These are all that can be done at the same time. So, like that, if you slowly developing this multitasking skill, because many of the time, many people are not successful in life because they don't develop this multitasking skill. If you gradually practice multitasking skill, it is not a big thing. Only highly intelligent people, not highly intelligent, will naturally will be having this multitasking skill. I told you about the case of one girl here. They are highly intelligent. So they naturally have this multitasking skill. But an average person with the practice can also develop multitasking skill, that is doing several things at the same time. With some practice, you can do that. For example, you are doing three activities. Think about only those three activities. If you are concentrating on something else that has taken place in your life earlier, then you cannot concentrate. So by practice, if you start, for example, developing this kind of for example, when you are working on a computer, you can do two or three activities at the same time. It's a computer is device that helps in multitasking many times. So that is the way. That is the way. For example, you are working on studies, and the teacher has asked you to write an essay. At the same time, along with the reading on the computer, you can also complete that essay in between. That is a multitasking. So this kind of with the practice only you can do that. But if you make it successful in your life, your life will be reaching very higher levels, very higher. You can achieve great heights in your life. So that is an important thing. So it's called divided attention or simply known as a multitasking. And in modern life, multitasking helps you to reach great heights in your life. So these are the various events about the focus. And focus is something pretty much everyone wishes they had more, but most of us struggle with it on daily basis. Everybody wants to concentrate on something very effectively, but what happens is that even though we decide to concentrate effectively, most of the time we may not be able to do it properly because many negative emotions. So as far as possible, make a good relationship. Make few enemies and more friends. That is what I want to know. If you have more enemies and few friends, you will have more distraction in your life. Even if you don't have so many friends, make fewer enemies. Because enemies can influence you more than friends. Because if you have 10 enemies and only having one friend, that can create you more trouble. So if you have only one enemy but only two friends, that is good. But if you have one friend and 10 enemies, these 10 enemies can disturb you, distract your life so many times in so many ways. So make few enemies and more friends. Then, but the research has shown that people who can focus for sustained period of time regularly perform better on all sort of cognitive challenges because when sometimes when you go to office or university, if you if you go to certain section, they may be doing the thing certificate or something very quickly within they will tell you come tomorrow or day after tomorrow I will get it. The same thing if you approach another section, there may be another person may be sitting there. Next day they will say come after 1 week. When we go there after 1 week, nothing has been done. What is the problem? They don't know how to do many things at that time. They may be forgetting what that person like you have approached me earlier. So that's kind of problem. Make you an ineffective person. Slowly, what will happen? The people start cursing you. So it is very important that you make a focused attention. Then whereas constantly giving into distraction leads to decrease in creativity. That is another problem. Because when your mind is in a good situation, you will have more creative ideas, you will have more constructive ideas, you will have more positive thoughts. At the same time, when negative emotions are staying in your mind, nothing good or nothing positive will come from your mind. So that is a skill we have to practice. That is why I told it make few enemies. Even if somebody is a wrong person, don't irritate him or irritate her. That gives you trouble. Because if you maybe at this age you may not know, but if you ask an older person, they will tell you just ignore about that. But that may be what your parents are also saying. Because if you start teaching him a lesson, ultimately you will be suffering. Your life will be spoiled. So nothing positive will be benefiting from teaching that person a lesson. So that's why enemies can give you more distraction, more trouble. So we have to make sure that we have little more few enemies in. So whereas constantly giving to distraction leads to decrease in creativity, we may not be able to do what we think of doing, and poor decision making. And our process of making good decision also will be affected. If you have an intensity of focus, you can actually reduce the amount of time spent doing it to get same or better result. For example, some students can read only two times a chapter and they may be remembering most of it. Some people have to read the same page 10 times. Then only they have to remember it. So what is again? One person is concentrating more, other person is concentrating less. So whenever you are reading, make sure that you don't think about any other thing while reading. So with the studies, you can develop that quality. So next time you go home, that I am not going to think about anything. This 1 hour I will only think about studies. Start doing that. Maybe for in the initial time it may not be easy but for you try practicing 10 minutes. Start with the 5 minutes or 10 minutes long. This 5 minutes I will think about only my studies. That is easy to implement. And if you start working on 5 minutes, after then make it 10 minutes. Then gradually make it 30 minutes. Then you can improve the time. Maybe up to 30 minutes if you can focus on your studies, that is enough. Now after 30 minutes you take a break, and after another 30 minutes come back and again do that process. Then it can actually increase your efficiency a lot. So focus keeps you productive. It is what determines whether you what you want to do or spend the day distracted. Because if you don't have proper focus, proper attention in your life, you feel that you are distracted most of the time. Here you can see some steps to improve attention. Control over your technology. That is an important thing. This mobile phone, to some extent, is a useful tool. At the same time, it is a tool that makes your life spoiled. If you don't know how to use your mobile effectively, every time you are checking, oh, who has sent me messages in WhatsApp. As far as I am concerned, I switched off the notification in WhatsApp. So if you send a message in WhatsApp, I may be checking it after 10 minutes or maybe tomorrow only. Because I don't want to get distracted from WhatsApp message. Practice that kind of skill only. Nothing is important in life. Because if somebody is very much in need of you, they will call you. Yeah, they don't want to call you because that means it is not important. So such kind of measures you have to take, because WhatsApp is something that makes the life of most people disturbed, distracted. Many people have expressed that after quitting their phone for 1 month or 2 months, their life has improved a lot. A focus-friendly environment. There is another thing. For example, your room, the sitting room. Next to your sitting room, another TV is there. Then how can you focus effectively? Make your study room away from the TV room or from other kind of this. And some people will be, most of the time students, how you are studying. Your books will be here, phone will be here. And you are reading on something, and next time the one message will be coming, you immediately take the phone and start looking at that. Then how can you focus? So when you are reading, keep the phone away and read only thing. No more multitasking. That is another thing. I sometimes say that multitasking is effective, but if you don't know how to do more things many times at the same time, if you don't practice it, then stop doing multitasking. That may be making you more in trouble. More breaks away from computer. That is another thing. Spend more time near trees and use deliberate recharge. So these are the measures you can, because if you are unhappy about anything, start going outside and spend little time in walking in the road or walking to a green area. That makes your life more happy. So we stop here. Thank you.